Tendons, tendons tends to maintain their strength through the test of time. However, they do take longer to build, and to not only build, also, a certain level of focus and intention is required to build tendons rather than how you could say the muscles adapt and grow to not as much intentional effort and movement, right? So, why is it that most people, when they age, they say they lose their strength? However, though, you can gradually see they lost muscle mass. But yet there are some rare exceptions of still able to move, still strong, and still capable, same age. So the factor then is not age, because if you say age would atrophy certain muscle groups at a certain time point in lifetime per each individual's body, then I would contest this notion and say this then. Okay, if it is a true statement, such as you will lose 60% of your muscle mass by the age of 60, right? Or if you want to say that, then you can say that by the age of 90 or 100, however you want to say it. The slope is still the same. We human beings tend to get to a certain point or a certain peak that all we do is atrophy, right? To the degree that we atrophy is also to the degree of our own internal notions and disciplines of how we activate our bodies and our modalities of how we live life. You with me so far? So, in truth, if you're not, feel free to ask some questions. Because you're part of the community now, so you could reach out and say, hey, I don't understand this portion, or can you elaborate further upon this segment? So this is what the amazing part is, right? So, feel free. Click the community tab and share your thoughts, your questions, your concerns about what this is. Just link the topic of this conversation here, right? And now, back into it, right? So what then is the factor that determines that we don't all atrophy at the same rates? Genetics, foods we eat, the lifestyle we live, the activities we accomplish, and how we operate our engine, our body, our vessel as when we lived our life. Because we all started at zero from one single seed. We multiplied, expand, traveled through time. About the exact same consistent rate of gravitational force was impacted on our body, but it changes depending on where we are. But yet, still none the same though. Most of the elemental laws of nature still affects us the same. Granted though, there are local laws such as, it's raining here, it's snowing here, but it's hot and cold in climate laws or rules and guidelines that we live by. Although yes, they do affect us and they do alter our bodies, they do make us adapt and, operate a little differently than those that are from different climate and things of that nature. But all that aside, right? There's still one simple clause that is true amongst all human race. Some seem to be able to live past 100 years old with an able, capable body and do certain activities where they are well independent. And others reach 60 and they themselves need physical assistance from the outside world of other capable human beings to aid them such that they could live and operate life. Yes, you would say this also. There are those that are handicapped by certain events, things that are out of their control that they couldn't control, such that their body is in a way that it is. But still, nonetheless, if you're in a wheelchair, right, there are those that perform athletic feats in wheelchairs. There are those that have no legs that still perform amazing, great tendencies and qualities. Why? There are those, you could even say, with muscle disease, Parkinson's disease, that have attained greatness and such that they do great things with their body. They've still pushed beyond the limits of what a limit would be put upon those that say this is my limit. So the goal and the philosophy of this training thinking is no matter what your condition, you can find limits beyond your present capable limits. It takes mind, it takes focus, it takes effort, it takes, dare I say it, discipline, focus. Be intentional with where you want to go, what you want to do. What then is stopping you? If the electrical system in your human body is malfunctioning, there is architect of all architects that could build the roadways within your body, within your mind, that you could rebuild yourself, right? So, therefore, learn to utilize the architect of your flesh. And not just your flesh, the architect of your mind, the architect of your life, your breath, your blueprint. It exists deep within you. It's not even deep, actually. It's pretty shallow. If a bullet could travel through you, therefore, it's not deep enough. So, it's not even that deep for you to obtain it. You could find it, you could reach it, you could hold it if you dare. It's that close. Listen for it. Find yourself within it. Pretty simple. And when you find yourself within it, you will move in accordance to what is right, what you deem is necessary. Everything else will fade. Everything else will melt into effortless ease. So, find that internal compass within you that will guide you. Intuitive action, call it that. There's a layer deeper than that you must also overcome. Your internal limitations that you yourself set upon yourself by your highest perspective of conduct. With your highest mind, your highest elevation of who you think you are, you've set limits on you saying, I will operate this way and I will not operate as such, and I will do this and I will do that, and that is who I am, and because I am this way, I operate as such. Because I have these conditions allow me to operate in such boundaries of limitations, and then there's nothing I can do, because when I try to expand beyond my present boundaries, there's pain, there is suffering, there is douleur, the double mind. I want to go further. I can't go further. I want to go further. I can't go further. Go beyond yourself and you will find yourself. Reveal yourself. Allow yourself to go beyond present limitations of the mind. When you think you can't go further, go slower. Sink deeper. Breathe into it. Breathe through it. Give life to a concept perspective outside of it, the other side of it. Give a persona to the identity that exists beyond it. Embody it. Embody yourself beyond what is presently even a limit. You have flesh, then beyond the limits of your own flesh exists a spirit that is beyond your flesh, that is an extension of you. So connect with it. No fingers the same, no fingers within the same depth and within the same length, designed to be similar with joints and functions, and you could even say the same components. Unique it may be, so therefore is each dimensions of your life. There's different plateaus, different angles, different perspectives, different highlights, different reasons, different thinking, different modalities, different sights, sensations, inputs, as as well as results that are processed in each dimension which is within you. Your flesh feels one degree of it, right? But yet there's an aspect of you that says, oh, it's my emotions, it's how I feel. What physical aspect of you is your emotions? If everything within you comes from a degree that could be touched, felt, and whatnot, because it's physical, are your emotions something that could be touched? But yet, a physical object outside of you could go through you and still not touch a part of you? That's interesting, right? So then, even if something goes through you, there is also the components around you, within you, that can, rebuild it. What do I mean? You've experienced having a cut or something stabbed through you, many layers of you, that created a hole, and yet somehow, some way, the hole is no longer there. That hole is closed, or even can't even realize what was. Right? Now, there's something about us human beings that allows us to transcend and evolve and heal our bodies in even such conditions. It is not for me here to tell you all the riddles and answers of how that is, but begin to question, why is that? What about us humans that are capable of doing such? Why? What about us? What conditions are there? Think of it, right? There is humans out there that have lived when a pipe went through their entire vessel. Gut, core, center. Yes, there are those exceptions, you would say, passive in a specific location that is instant death. Such as death is also part of life, and yet your own flesh dies daily and you're rebirthed and reshaped into something else. So you're always continuously dying. But yet you're dying and rebirthing in a different degree and different domain that is different than what you perceive death to be. You shed your skin. How often? You shed your hair, you grow, your nails, you evolved and you adapt. You change the structure of your jawline, your teeth, your facial figures, how you operate, your muscle size, your volume, your mass. You could change all of that and you say you don't evolve? Wow. What then do you call these magnificent feats? You grow in size, you shrink in size, you transform your body, you shape yourself, you reshape yourself, you strengthen, you weaken, you mold, you reshape. Now, greater than all that, right? You expand, you contract, you expand, you stretch, you shrink. So what then can you not do? The sirens ring. Emergency, emergency, I've reached my limits. One cell was capable of duplicating, replicating, dividing, multiplying, subtracting, dividing, adding to itself continuously. And thus here you are, continuing the process of that which was. And here you say, it has to end. Yet, you also always see records of those that always push the limits of what is end further than you thought possible, further than the collective thought possible. An individual does it first, and then the collective begins to say, it is possible. What is possible always exists in this holy moment called now. Beyond mind, understand it, experience it, know it. The concepts that stretch your mind or ideas that are far beyond that which you thought were capable of. Extraterrestrial, out of this world, comes an idea that infects the population of mind, and it infects my mind, such that my mind sees from a different perspective. So all I am sharing is just a different perspective from a mind that wants to see beyond what the mind is capable of seeing. First, the vision must be instilled in your mind for intuitive actions to reveal itself. What actions are required to obtain such mind, body, heart, and spirit? So, that is all for me. That is all for now. And yes, some of these concepts are vast, deep, further than your present capable understanding of, I can achieve this, I can do this right now. You must first plant the seed in your mind. Nurture the seed. Nurture this idea. Don't deny the idea saying it's not possible before you give it root and validation. A concept that cannot be entered in your mind to begin with will not produce results because it was never inside the context, the box, the sand, the soil, the nurturing, the seed, the life, the breeding grounds necessary to give life. So, if you seek life and you seek to live life to its fullest, you must give birth to the ideas in your mind that gives life the ability to live to its fullest. Who you become in the process is determined by what? Who you become. Who you become is absolute within who you are. And who you are is determined by what factors, what perspective you see yourself to be. Even factors you decide others on the outside world are. You hold others to such boundaries of limits of how they should operate. Hey, daughter, you were this way, but now you're not this way. What happened? What's happening? What's changing? Hey, husband, you used to operate this way and you're no longer operating this way. Hey, fellow human beings, I used to operate like this with you and now the same way of operation doesn't work anymore? What happened? What changed? What modified itself? Why is it that one form of being is acceptable now, but not always? Evolution of ideas and concepts of what is possible, what is ideal, concepts that exist beyond that which is plain as day. But yet common sense ain't so common. Why? We both could be hearing the same message, seeing the same exact objects, item, but yet we both see it from a different perspective, from a different lens, from a different light. What you're capable of, my dear ones, my friends, what you're capable of, even I can't tell you. It's for you to know, for you to figure it out. Go further, go beyond. Only if you choose to. And if you choose death at any moment, there is no one to judge you. There's only you. There's only your life. So, the capability to take your own life It does exist. The ability to just sit and wallow and let your body and yourself atrophy because you're like, you know what? There is no reasons to live. That's okay. That choice is yours to make. Yet I'm not promoting you to take your own life, but I'll tell you this. What is grand is the fulfillment that you fulfill within yourself, to realize yourself, to say, hey, I was tenacious. I was rigorous. I felt vitality. I felt the vigor. I felt the flames. I felt that fire. I felt that intense desire to live and do everything I did with such passion, with such enthusiasm that I felt it to the core of my being, and it gave life to me. And with my life, I choose to live life where my life could end at any moment. The choice is yours. The warrior walks on the battlefield knowing the consequence of where he walks, the way he moves, what he does, but yet he walks on that battlefield whenever the moment arises for him to walk on that battlefield. The swordsman plays with the sword that he knows could end his life and the life of another. He doesn't do it lightly. Yes, there are those that pick up the gun to save lives. There are those that every time they pick up a gun, they take life. Such is life in the race of a human being with the present consciousness of thinking that we presently hold. And even greater than that which takes life is that which gives his own life away. Imagine this. If there are infinite ways to live, you could also imagine of infinite ways to die. That which you are, you only attract that which you become. Death first comes in the mind before the flesh. Like I tell you, the mind of the warrior that brings him to the battlefield could be his death before the battle even begins, before the war even ends. Because for the warrior to exist, there is war within his name. So the warrior is one that is at war with self, because war begins with the warrior, and the warrior is always at war. Now, the student that walks to class and is struck down by lightning or hit by an accidental misfire of events. Can you fathom? How did his life end? The mother that was given life that passed before she got to witness the life that she gave. What perspective does that bring? The mother that wished to see her offspring feel fulfilled, be fulfilled, but yet does not get that opportunity. What perspective does that bring? The young soul, the young tree that strives to be as fruitful as it possibly can, but yet somehow gets burned and get cuts down before its time. What perspective does that give? How does one live life once you've experienced that? Whatever happens, I must tell you this, life still continues. Whatever happens, the cycle continues. Life goes on no matter what happens. The lion kills a wildebeest, life goes on. The wildebeest kills the lion, life goes on. None dies, both lives and grows and becomes and live a fulfilled life and routes away through the ether of time. Life goes on. Bones become dust throughout time and expansions of life. Life goes on. Flesh gets preserved and lives throughout the existence and the state that is preserved throughout the existence of time. Life goes on. This moment, this too shall pass. It is you to be reminded of what you truly are, what you're fully capable of. Only then do you know what you can do. Yes, these ideas here are meant to stretch your mind, stretch your thoughts so that you can expand and see things from a different light, a different perspective. It is not false, but allowing your mind to be subjugated to other perspective. Hey, why is it that man choose to go against what is the populist view to bend with the feminine female? And yet, it goes with itself. A male goes with a male, and a female goes with a male. But rarely you could say you see that in the animal kingdom. And yet, I'm sure you can make exceptions where you see that in the animal kingdom. Man manifests what man wants to see as evidence for what man chooses to be. Now, when does it all begin? For what purpose? For what desire? For what outcome? Do you see two positives in the universe collaborate with two positives, right? Two negatives conglomerate with two negatives, and thus the kinetic chain begins and forms and grows, expands. What is always continues to be. What will be will always be. What is will always be. What is. Yes, your mind may not make sense of it all now. Seek to stretch your mind further, and deeper to that which you dare see, what you dare believe. Believe. Just believe. You can expand yourself. You can grow. You can become something greater, grander, if you choose to. It takes work. It takes effort. The continual motion of growth. Before life was created, breath gave life to life. In the beginning, it is said, there was the Word, and before the first word was spoken, there was breath. And before breath came life, because if breath gives life, what then exists before breath? Deeper than breath, something else that exists, that is conscious. That is as deep as our conversation goes to explain that which is conscious. But what then is consciousness within consciousness that gives consciousness the consciousness to be conscious? It's deeper than what you may see. It's further than what you believe. It is narrower than that which is the tip of a needle. It is smaller than the smallest atom. Smaller than the most minute objects, the most minute cell. But yet it gives life to it all. And it also brings death to it all. It grows, it expands, it contracts, it heals, it destroys. Keep that in mind. Connect with your mind. Connect with that thing that exists within all minds. Until next time. Be blessed, blessed one. Find out who you truly are, what you truly are, and what you're capable of.